It excites him. Most serial killers keep some sort of trophies from their victims.
I didn't.
No. No, you ate yours.
In the movie Silence of the Lamb, this guy is cannibal. He is so dangerous that no one is allowed to even touch his cell. To provide him with food or something else, they have created a one-way locking mechanism just like shown in the series You. He can manipulate someone and make them do anything, even taking their own life. He is the embodiment of devil himself. But still, as I watched the movie, I found myself rooting for the character at the end of the movie. It made me wonder how the director Jonathan Demme convinced me to root for him. At the end of it, I felt like this character deserved a standalone movie or a series. I was so fearful and interested in this character that I googled if the character was real. The character of Hannibal Lecter was created by author Thomas Harris. Hannibal Lecter first appeared in Harris's 1981 novel Red Dragon. Harris has mentioned that he was inspired by real-life physician and convicted killer named Alfredo Bailey Trevino, who was known as Dr. Salazar. Bailey Trevino was a Mexican doctor who was convicted of murdering his lover's husband and then dismembering and disposing of the body. Harris encountered his case while he was a crime reporter for a newspaper, and it may have influenced his portrayal of the character. Harris' creation of Hannibal Lecter is a work of fiction, and the character is highly intelligent, cultured, and cannibalistic serial killer, which makes him a unique and memorable figure in the world of literature and film. The character is best known for his appearances in Harris's novel and the subsequent film adaptation, most notably in The Silence of the Lamb, where he was portrayed by Sir Anthony Hopkins. Let's find out what makes him a character you start liking in the movie Silence of the Lamb. To understand Hannibal Lecter, we have to begin with Clarice Starling, a young and determined FBI trainee at FBI Academy in Quantico. Clarice often feels like she doesn't fit in this world, where we typically see manhandling intricate FBI cases. This feeling is conveyed through various camera shots and angles throughout the movie. She is either viewed as if she doesn't quite fit the field of the work, or she has to deal with people making advances towards her. Despite all these challenges, Clarice remains focused on her goal of joining FBI. One day, her FBI superior, Crawford, assigns her a task of interviewing Hannibal Lecter. There's another killer on the loose, and Crawford hopes that Hannibal might have insight into this new killer's mind, which could aid the case. When Clarice visits Hannibal in the case, she first encounters other menacing inmates who are far from easy on the eyes. Then she meets Hannibal himself. He is well dressed and well groomed, which gives off an aura of calm, but Clarice remains quite frightened. As she tries to get to know him and ask questions, Hannibal also judges her. He sees her for who she is, a scared, inexperienced and afraid girl who comes from a poor background but wants to prove herself. Initially, Hannibal isn't eager to assist her. However, when Clarice faces mistreatment from another prisoners as she is leaving, Hannibal feels sympathy for her and offers a tip. This information leads her to discover the body of Hannibal's former patient, who was killed by the other killer. Hannibal shares this information because he believes such an experience could benefit her career. This experience reveals Hannibal's more human side, making viewers want to root for him despite his dark tendencies. Earlier I talked about a prisoner who misbehaved with Clarice. Well, he kills himself in his cell. Hannibal, being very skilled at manipulation as a psychiatrist, he convinced the prisoner to take his own life. This just adds to the complexity of Hannibal's character. During this conversation, Hannibal asks Clarice why Crawford sent her to investigate him. He wonders if Crawford might be attracted to Clarice. However, Clarice is not interested in discussing this topic, and she doesn't pursue it further. As the story unfolds, when Hannibal Lecter is in another prison, Clarice visits him to give him his drawings which he enjoys creating. During this encounter, he touches Clarice's hand. This touch is shown as inappropriate or unwelcome touch from a man, although the movie doesn't emphasize it greatly. It's only at the end, when Crawford congratulates Clarice on solving the case, we learn his true motivation. He wanted to help her because he knew her father and what happened to him. Crawford genuinely cared about Clarice's well-being. When he shakes her hand, he doesn't linger as Hannibal did. The movie doesn't make it clear if Hannibal was attracted to Clarice. It could be that he was just trying to convey how a man's lingering touch can reveal his intentions. Throughout the movie, Hannibal acts like he's trying to guide Clarice and becomes sort of father figure to her, making his character more likable and adding complexity to their relationship. In the process of helping Clarice solve the case, Hannibal is also interested in getting to know her better. He is willing to assist her, but on a condition that she opens up about herself. As a psychiatrist, Hannibal senses that there's something troubling in Clarice's past, something traumatic. He uses this opportunity to delve into her psyche, understanding that her personal history holds the key to her motivations. Through their conversation, we learn that after her father's death, Clarice moved to a ranch where she was cared by the rancher. However, she later discovered that rancher was slaughtering lambs, which deeply affected her. She attempted to save one of the lamb but was unsuccessful. This experience symbolizes her own helplessness and vulnerability. Clarice also has vivid recollection of her father's funeral, and those memories still elicit strong emotions. Her primary motivation now is to save another life, a way of redeeming herself for her inability to save the lamb that day. She hears voices of slaughtered lamb in her mind, and she believes that by solving this murder case, she might silence those haunting voices. Hannibal doesn't directly provide her with all the answers to the case. Instead, he guides her on how to approach the problem and figure out the solution on her own. This approach helps build her self-confidence. At the start of the movie, Clarice appears fragile, but at the end, after solving the murder case herself, she exudes confidence. This teaching method by Hannibal contributes to his likability. He serves as an excellent mentor to Clarice, guiding her not to just solve the case but also in finding her inner strength. Next, we should talk about Dr. Chilton. He is a significant character in the story, serving as Hannibal Lecter's longtime psychiatrist. As Clarice regularly interacts with Hannibal and keeps their conversation confidential, Chilton becomes jealous. He craves recognition and wants everyone to know that he played a part in working with Hannibal and assisting in solving the case. Driven by his curiosity and desire for credit, Chilton secretly plans a recorder pen in Hannibal's cell to eavesdrop on their conversations. This was the pen responsible for Hannibal escaping. Clarice makes a deal with Hannibal that doesn't officially exist. Chilton goes behind her back and makes another deal with Hannibal, showing his opportunistic nature. The way he orchestrates Hannibal's transportation and containment resembles how one would handle a highly dangerous animal. Chilton becomes an obstacle in efforts to solve the serial murder case, making him a character that many viewers grow to dislike. This is why when Hannibal escapes at the end of the story and is seemingly poised to take revenge on Chilton, some viewers might find themselves rooting for Hannibal, even though they know his actions are morally wrong. It's a testament to the complexity and ambiguity of the character in the narrative. Hannibal Lecter's character is not just likable, but also incredibly intriguing. One of the most remarkable scenes in the movie is how he manages to escape from prison. I could go on and on about this scene, but it's something you really have to see to fully appreciate. After seeing this scene, I will keep appreciating it with friends. In the movie, the way Hannibal executes his escape showcases his exceptional intelligence. It's evident that he ranks amongst the best villains in the history of cinema. His character seems to be a source of inspiration in another iconic villains, such as Joker from Dark Knight and the villain in The Seven. Hannibal is undeniably brilliant, well-read, and when he talks to Clarice, he references Marcus Aurelius, a Greek philosopher, highlighting his intellect. He always carries himself with great manners, adding to his enigmatic charm. At the end of the movie, when we see Hannibal in the crowd, he blends in seamlessly. He appears like an ordinary person, much like Joe's character in the series You. This normalcy and his ability to hide in plain sight adds to the intrigue surrounding this character. All these things make him a really memorable character, which you might not see very well executed in cinema again. Sir Anthony Hopkins won an Oscar for his portrayal. What else can you say? This was my take on the character. There are many people who have appreciated this movie on YouTube, but I didn't see any of them because I have wanted my take on this movie to stay sharp. I hope you guys enjoyed this video.